and I've already done it, but I've added this kick arrow. So if you just click on select the capsule component, click the add button, select arrow, and add that, and then I've called it kick arrow, and I've positioned it roughly around here. And the purpose of that, we are using that to identify where we want to place the kick collision sphere. So in other words, when he kicks, we expect his foot to end up here. We'll go to the event graph of our character. It might feel a little bit painful, but just get rid of all the nodes you've added to the kick input action event. We can leave our disable movement in there. So after we've disabled the movement, we can play the animation for the body. We can set this to the kick animation sequence. Don't need it to be looping. Drag off that one and create another delay. And this is the delay that takes place before the kick reaches the point we will be placing the sphere collision. For my kick animation, 0.3 is about right, and you can adjust yours higher or lower depending on what kind of animation you've got going. So at this point, we can go ahead and create an instance of that kick hit actor. Spawn actor from class, set that to kick hit actor, and this is where we can use our kick arrow to define where to spawn it. So right click on spawn transform, split struct pin, drag the kick arrow into the event graph, drag from that, get world location, and get world rotation, and plug the location into the location here and the rotation into here. So now we just need to allow enough time for the animation to finish, and we can revert to the idle and re-enable the character movement. So delay 0.5 will be roughly what I'm looking for. Then we can drag off this delay and say set animation mode for the body. We want it to use the animation blueprint. And then of course re-enable the character movement and set that to walking. Okay, so that should do that. So we press the kick button, disable our character's movement, play the kick animation, allow the kick to get to its peak position, place the sphere collision where the foot is positioned when it's at its peak, wait for the animation to finish, and then just revert back to the idling state. Now to help us with the testing part of this, first of all, compile, save. We'll go to the kick hit actor, viewport, select the sphere, go to the details, search for hidden, and we don't want to hide it in the game, so check this to false. Select your arrow, and we'll also do the same for that one. So we can compile and save that one. And sorry to jump around here a bit, before we forget, we don't actually have a collision capsule for this character. So we'll want to get that sorted. So click on the blueprint, add capsule collision, so we can make that as the root. Come over to the details and set this to a value that is suitable for the height of your MetaHuman. Drag your MetaHuman into the capsule. So if we were to go ahead and test this one now, we should be able to kick, and yeah, we can see that collision sphere is loaded pretty much where we want it to be. And if I change direction, we can see that the arrow is pointing in the direction we'd want to be kicking. As a reminder, if your sphere isn't loading in the correct position, go back to your MetaHuman blueprint, the one that you're playing as. Go to the viewport and just adjust the position of the kick arrow until it gets spawned at the correct location. Alrighty, so as I mentioned, we'll have to add the collision detection to the kick hit actor. So we'll head over to its event graph, select the sphere, add an event for on component begin overlap. And the first thing we want to do is check if we collided with the other MetaHuman that we're trying to kick. So if we say cast to BP Vivian, which is the MetaHuman blueprint in my case. So if it was the other MetaHuman, we can go ahead and call that got kicked custom event that we created. So got kicked. And then of course we just need to pass in the kick location so we can use the arrow. And we're only interested in the forward direction. So we'll say get forward vector and plug that into the kick location. So we'll just need to plug in the other actor that we collided with, and we should be able to compile and save this. And then go to the blueprint for the other MetaHuman that we are kicking, select the mesh, go to collision and set the collision presets to ragdoll. So we definitely want this effect. Compile, save. So I think that covers all the functionality we need for this to actually work. So if we go to the MetaHumans and we'll bring in our other MetaHuman and position them, and we'll go ahead and test that. Alright, so we'll get there. There we go. Perfect. So it looks like we need to, we may have to retarget the mesh. So we will go ahead and do that. So if we go to the blueprint for this other MetaHuman, select the skeletal mesh, go down to live retarget, use live retarget mode, enable this checkbox, compile, save, and we'll test that again. Yeah, so that looks heaps better. There you go. That looks awesome. Well, maybe that's a bad choice of words, but if you wanted to play around with this further, it'll be very handy to go to this blueprint for this character, go to the event graph, go over to this value here and right click on the pin, and you can promote that to a variable, and you can say horizontal kick force, and then you could do the same for this pin, right click, promote to variable, vertical kick force, and then click on these little icons to make them public, compile, save. And then if we come back to the third person map, we should be able to select the character, and then we can see these values can be set here, so it makes it a lot easier to play around with. Alright, so that certainly should create something cool. She gone. Alrighty, so that'll do it for this one, I reckon, and we'll see what else we can come up with.